After the Great War against the undead, many things had changed throughout the lands. A sense of hope and trust has since begun to spread. This is something that caused V and Ares to dread, but they knew that disrupting this peace was within their hands. Yet before V could make a plan of attack, a scythe had sliced into him from his back. He spun around and summoned his power, shooting a beam at the Reaper, who he now sought to devour. As the two fought, another Reaper appeared. This was everything he had feared. He called to his master Ares to no avail, for Ares cared not for someone who would fail. So V gathered his magic. Corrupt and vile, he fought back though only for a little while. The Reapers fought in unity and in strength. They wanted to harvest V's soul, and to that they'd go to any length. After a moment, V was defeated, and they went to take his soul, but it was tangled and torn and really quite strange. Trying to remove it sent out a pulse of darkness. It began to make them change. Their shadowy form disfigured as the dark pulse was taking a toll. Once it stopped, there was something new, something chaotic yet mindless, so away they flew. Soon they arrived at the Kingdom of Fire. Austin grabbed a sword, but the situation was really quite dire. He tried to repel their grievous attack, but with a single wave of the hand, his armor was consumed by cracks. They pierced his flesh, and he couldn't defend. He screamed out, calling to his friends. Suddenly the sky filled with thunder and rain. Jacob and Isaiah appeared to stop Austin's pain. Isaiah summoned his power and let out a brutal storm. The storm of energy began to tear apart these Reapers' new form. While Isaiah handled the fight, Jacob healed Austin with the magic of the purest light. The Reapers were no match for these gods who came to Austin's aid, so they fled and ran to avoid being slayed. However, it seemed this didn't end the great fight, as even as they left, the Reapers began a great blight. Jacob knew research must be conducted to fix this before food got too low, so with that it was his time to go. Isaiah said he would stay. If an attack from an enemy came, he'd make them surely pay. While Austin decided he must go find some way to return some of his power, he was too weak now, and he refused to cower. On Jacob's journey, he found a new friend. He gained a new knight for the Kingdom of Ice. The knight Alex was brave and wise. Magic and technology was something he seemed to blend, so Jacob asked him for some advice. Alex responded that he might know a way to cure the blight. However, many skeleton mobs they'd have to fight. Jacob and Alex then went to hell. Then the skeleton armies they began to quell. Soon they had many magical bones. Alex smiled and said, "Now we need some mystical stones." Then they returned to the land of the ice and went on to mine. Finding the stones, it was easy because of how bright they shine. With bones and stones and Alex's magical tome, the spell had begun to make a glowing foam. Alex then looked to the Ice King. "This'll fix that blight. Put it to all of the crops. It'll need to cling." Jacob then thought for a moment, then used his magic to lift up the foam. He used the magic to mix it into clouds and sent it back home. A healing foamy rain then washed over the land, which ended the blight as if it was a mere particle of sand. The Ice King and Alex then went home, ending their quest, though new challenges would arise that would continue to put their strengths to the test. While Jacob was on his journey, King Austin was on his own, a journey that led him to find a new knight as well. His name was something he would not yet tell, but he wanted to help his king, so he told Austin of a long-lost magical ring. The two then went off to find the mystical thing. Somehow, as they grew closer to Austin, the ring began to sing, which made the journey quite short and sweet. However, when Austin put it on, it knocked him off of his feet. Turns out this was a plan that Austin had forgot from his time as Fire Lord. The ring was made from the Tower of Darkness, within it much restored. The ring filled Austin with hate and rage. His power spiked beyond what could be gauged. However, the ring was meant to control a random man. The spell was not meant for Austin's own hand, so it worked only partially as it split the king into two. One was evil and mad, while the other was good. The evil half looked enraged as away it did flew. The good side of Austin used his magic to do what he could. He tried to trap the Fire Lord, even in summoning his great sword. But at last it was too late. The Fire Lord fled, and he knew not what would be its fate. So he and the new knight went back home. Austin knew that to beat this new creature and restore himself full, he would need to read many tomes. As Jacob and Austin were away, Isaiah's journey was rather tame. He sat and waited in case any enemies came. After a moment, one did appear. It was V playing victim, feigning fear. The Ice Knights let him within their walls. He thought Jacob would be the one to answer their calls. But when Isaiah walked in, V shot up in surprise. Isaiah saw through his friendly disguise. Isaiah cared not for second chances. So immediately he ordered the knights to begin their advances. V quickly shot out a dark shriek, killing the knight, enraging Isaiah, summoning his might. With one shot of lightning into V, while he fell almost dead, and so he tried to flee. Isaiah blocked him with amazing speed. As V fell to the ground, as he continued to bleed, Isaiah then said, "This is your end." As he shot lightning, V was unable to defend. This would have been the end of V, but suddenly a fire engulfed him, allowing him to flee. Firelord Austin asked V if they were to be allies once more. They both served Ares after all. But if V were to lie, then Firelord Austin would ensure that he were to die.